Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking something just deeply personal, incredibly relatable, and honestly beautifully written. We're going to look at a blog post by a guy named Adam. Now, Adam is a laboratory analyst, a dedicated dad, and a grassroots football coach. He uses writing, specifically haiku, as a kind of mindful, creative outlet to process the world around him. And today's story? It's all about getting older, parenthood, and that incredibly specific, bittersweet moment when a kid finally outgrows the master. It's a brilliant look at how we navigate the emotional transitions of aging and passing the mantle. Adam actually frames this entire reflection with a really striking poem that he published on his NE63 Haiku blog. It goes like this: heartbeat racing now, sun shining, breeze pushes back, this hero retires. Okay, let's dive into this, because this short, evocative piece perfectly sets the poetic, emotional tone for what we're about to explore right out of the gate. In literally just 17 syllables, Adam captures the heavy physical exertion, the pure pride of watching his son shine, and the quiet, almost peaceful retirement of his own status as the hero. So he immediately anchors this story to a very specific moment in time, the 20th of August, 2026, at exactly 1830. Adam tells us right off the bat that this is a date and time he simply will not forget. It's kind of like a mystery he drops right into our laps, and it serves as the anchor for today's entire narrative. I mean, what could possibly make a random Thursday night in August so unforgettable? Well, we are going to solve this puzzle together and find out exactly what happened on this late summer evening. Moving into section 1, an unforgettable date. Let's set the scene here. To really understand the significance of this date, we have to look at the atmosphere. It's nearing the end of the kids' summer holiday, and the local youth team is deep in preseason training. Now, for 6 long weeks, these boys have been grinding it out. Preseason isn't just a casual kickabout in the park, right? It's a dedicated period of rigorous fitness work, dialing in tactics, and mastering formations. Adam notes they've played friendlies and a tournament, though in his classic dry humor, he admits the less said about that tournament, the better. But all jokes aside, these young lads have been putting in just incredible mental and physical effort. This brings us to section 2, lessons on the pitch, because this is about way more than just a game. You see, Adam views his role as a coach not just as a way to pass the time, but as a real privilege to help shape these kids into young men. And this brilliantly illustrates how grassroots football is about so much more than the sport itself. The pitch is essentially a classroom. It's where they learn resilience, patience, and teamwork. They learn how to win graciously and, honestly, crucially, how to handle losing. These are foundational tools built right there on the grass that are going to serve them for the rest of their lives. So let's look at how this builds into our fateful Thursday training session. The boys had finished up their grueling fitness drills, and it was time for a practical match. The coaches deliberately set up a specific tactical scenario. One team was overloaded with extra players to really work on passing and fluid movement. The other side, the underloaded team, was deliberately put at a numbers disadvantage. This forces them to communicate heavily and learn how to deal with intense physical pressure. It's a really smart, classic training setup designed to push both sides to their limits. Which leads us to section 3, facing the sun. Things take an unexpected turn here. Now, what's really interesting about this setup is where the tension escalates. Completely out of nowhere, all 3 adult coaches were drafted into this training game. And Adam, well, he was placed on the opposite side to his son, Max. The physical and honestly comedic mismatch here was stark. On one side, you have Max fully geared up and match-ready after a whole summer of intense training. On the other side, you've got Coach Adam in his t-shirt, his jeans, and his regular street trainers. He is entirely unprepared for a high-intensity match, both mentally and, well, sartorially. And out there on the grass, in his jeans and trainers, Adam learns a very, very humbling truth. Trying to defend against his son, he finds himself completely out of his depth. I want to slow down the piecing here for a second to really emphasize this climax on the pitch. Max ran rings around him, literally. Max is so good now that Adam simply couldn't keep up with him, let alone outskill him. Adam openly admits he isn't the greatest or fittest footballer, but the reality was still stark. He was vastly, undeniably outmatched by his own kid. So we arrive at section 4, passing the mantle, the humbling realization. This physical reality on the pitch brings up a deeply complex set of feelings. I mean, how does a parent even process a moment like this? Think about the past for a second, the days when Adam had to actively let Max win in the backyard. Back then, he was undeniably the better footballer, right? The ultimate hero in his son's eyes. But look at the present.
Adam tries his absolute hardest to win in a real drill, and he still loses. It's this wild mix of intense pride in his son's progress, tightly intertwined with this slightly uneasy realization that he's no longer the footballing hero. That phase, it's over. But rather than dwelling on the loss of his youth or his hero status, Adam reaches a really profound conclusion. He says, maybe being his hero was never about being better than him. Let that sink in for a moment. This is the defining philosophical takeaway here. Fatherhood, mentorship, coaching, it isn't about maintaining physical dominance forever or staying on some unreachable pedestal. He follows it up with this incredible realization. Maybe it was about helping him become better than me? And wow, this brings us perfectly back to that haiku we started with, right? This hero retires. The mantle of the hero isn't passed in a moment of bitter defeat. It's passed in the triumphant fulfillment of a parent's ultimate purpose. The goal of all those lessons in resilience, patience, and teamwork was always, from day one, to elevate the child past the parent's own limitations. And so, Adam's narrative comes full circle, returning us right back to our mystery date, the 20th of August, 2026 at 18:30. The day my son surpassed me, and I couldn't be prouder. He completely resolves the puzzle we established at the beginning. We now know exactly why this specific summer evening, getting run in circles while wearing jeans and trainers on a local grassroots pitch, will be etched in his memory with such immense pride forever. It's just a universally human story of transition, beautifully told through the simple lens of a Thursday night kickabout. Because if you think about it, we are all either actively passing a mantle or receiving one. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a direct question to reflect upon in your own life. Who helped you become better than them? Whether it was a parent, a dedicated mentor, or maybe a grassroots coach of your own, take a moment to appreciate the heroes who gracefully retired so that you could shine. Thanks so much for diving into this story with me today.